These are the ingredients that you're going to need to make our zucchini, lime and olive oil cake. We've got plain flour, soft brown sugar, free-range eggs, bicarbonate of soda, baking powder, and we've got some olive oil. We've got 2 limes and zucchini. Icing sugar, cream cheese, unsalted butter, and we've got some pistachio nuts. This is what we're going to cook it in, our loaf tin. It can be bigger or smaller, but I'm showing you the one I'm using, which is 20 centimeters in length. The height of the tin is 11 centimeters, but the cake won't go that high. The width is 11 centimeters. Now I've got a large piece of baking paper and I'm just going to cut quite a thin strip of paper and then cut the end of that remaining piece of paper and just spray the inside of our loaf tin. Basically, we're going to line our tin with some paper. So I've got the thin strip on the bottom, then I've got that fatter strip just over the top, and I'm using the spray grease to get the paper to stick to the side of the loaf tin. I'll put that aside and we'll use that in a bit. Now we're going to start to make the cake batter. I'm using a stand mixer. You can do this by hand, but a stand mixer is going to be a lot easier for you. Inside the bowl, I'm going to add the soft light brown sugar and the eggs. And then one of the limes, I'm just going to take all of the zest off and just finely grate that zest, put it inside. Attaching the whisk, put it onto our machine. We're going to whisk it up on a medium speed. And we're going to see how long this takes because it always takes a little bit different. It will probably take you between 8 and 12 minutes. What you want is the sugar to have dissolved and you have a nice light airy sabayon. While the mixing machine's on, I turn the oven to 180 and I use the fine side of a box grater just to grate that zucchini. Now, depending on how much cake you want to make, this is 200 grams of zucchini. So you could weigh your zucchini before you grate it or weigh it afterwards, it's up to you. I'm happy with the sugar and the egg now, so I'm just going to add in that zucchini. It's been grated and just going to fold it in. It will go a little bit looser because the zucchini has additional water, but this is going to be great now. Almost done really, super easy. Don't forget the recipe is on studiokitchen.com.au. We're going to add plain flour into a sieve along with the bicarb and the baking powder, and then we'll just sieve about half of that in, fold it in, and then we'll sieve the other half in, and then just fold in that dry ingredient into our cake batter. Yeah, so head to Studio Kitchen. We've got tons more recipes, loads of free recipes. It'd be fantastic if you create a profile with us, and then you'll get our newsletter every week, which is full of awesome recipes like this. Okay, this is the secret to making our cake nice and moist. We're going to add in some olive oil. We've got some beautiful olive oil here. You could use a mild olive oil, but I actually quite like the flavour of a grassy olive oil in this. So I'm just adding a little bit in and then folding it in with my spatula before adding a little bit more oil, folding it in, probably about 3 or 4 additions of the oil. I don't want to add in all at once in case it curdles, but I'm happy that it's all been amalgamated and I've got a really nice cake batter now. Grabbing my tin that I prepared earlier, we're going to pour that cake batter into the tin. Try not to make any mess on the sides and scrape out all of that cake batter. And now it's time to go into the oven. In it goes. Oven was preheated to 180 degrees. I'm going to set a 50-minute timer here. It will depend on your oven, but I've found this is the sweet spot for me in this oven. So 50 minutes and we're good to go. I'm just going to take it out. We will check. We're going to insert a skewer into this, and you can do the same. Just be gentle. Put it into the middle and make sure it goes into the middle of the cake. If it comes out clean, you know that cake batter is cooked all the way through. And I'm going to leave mine to cool in the tin for about 15 minutes before just lifting up that paper, and that's why we have excess paper, so it's easy to get out of the tin. Just taking off that paper, and we're going to leave that cake now to cool down on a rack, and in the meantime we're going to start to make our icing. Now I don't make my icing too soon. I want to make sure that cake is nice and cool. So it was probably about 45 minutes before I started to make the icing. And it was icing sugar, cream cheese, and unsalted butter. It goes into the bowl. And then the other lime, I grate half of the lime zest there, and the first lime that we had in the batter, I'm going to cut that in half and use the juice. There was lots of juice in there, so I only used half a lime. We're going to turn it on, attach the paddle, and we're just going to beat this together. Now, if you think it's too loose, you need to add some icing sugar. If you think it's too thick, you probably want to add a little bit more lime juice. So you're just going to have to check based on how much juice is in your lime, but I'm really happy with that. It's smooth, it's nice and thick, but it's not too thick. And I'm just going to spoon heaps of that on top of that cake. Make sure that cake is nice and cool, otherwise it's just going to run off. And I've just got a little palette knife and I'm just putting it to the edges. I'm not being super neat here. This isn't a 3 Michelin star dessert. This is something rustic at home. So I'm just pushing it to the edges, and a bit of texture on top is really awesome. I'm happy with that. I've got some pistachio nuts. This is going to add a great bit of crunch and continue that green theme on top. And I'm just going to give them a quick chop and put them on top of that cream cheese frosting there. Really awesome. And then the second lime, we left a little bit of zest on the side there. So I'm just freshly grating it on top of that cake. And all of those essential oils are going to add to that flavour. There you have it. Really simple. Zucchini, lime, olive oil cake with cream cheese frosting and pistachio. Absolutely delicious with a cup of tea. Super easy to make. If you've got any excess zucchinis in your garden that you know what to do with it, or if someone gives you one of those big zucchinis, you can make this with it. Absolutely delicious. Head to studiokitchen.com.au for the recipe and enjoy. Thanks guys.